Hey everybody, it's Mr. Mott. What we're going to do is go through how to find the density of a liquid. Specifically, this is some vegetable oil that we have for our lab. We're going to find the density of this. So we need to find the mass and then the volume. Volume is pretty straightforward for a liquid. We're just going to pour it into our graduated cylinder. That's how we're going to read the volume. The mass is trickier because we can't pour it directly onto our balance. It's just going to go everywhere. We need a container. Guess what? Luckily, our graduated cylinder is a container. So this one's going to be pretty straightforward. Typically in lab, you're going to be sharing a balance with someone. And that's kind of how we're going to approach it. So first thing we actually need to do is figure out the mass of our graduated cylinder. So we're going to put that on our balance and record the mass of our empty graduated cylinder. That's 67.76, we'll call it. All right, so that's the mass of our empty graduated cylinder. And then what we're going to do is we're going to proceed to add little amounts of our vegetable oil into here. All right, I know that we could tear the balance, in other words, zero the balance by pressing either the on button or the zero, and then the mass would go to zero. Then we can measure the mass directly, but in lab, this is how you would really truly approach it, because you usually don't have your own balance to yourself. All right, so we know the mass of our empty cylinder here. We're going to add some liquid to it. Doesn't matter how much we add in here. I just prefer to add a little bit at a time. All right, so I'm just going to kind of freehand pour some in here. All right, so my first trial here, I'm gonna get the mass of my graduated cylinder and my liquid, and we're gonna record this under our first trial. All right, so the mass, a little bit hard to see, that's an 8 actually. So that's 80.03, let's call it 80.03. And then we're gonna read the volume directly. So I'm gonna hold this up at eye level, and we're looking at a volume of around 12.5 milliliters. So volume of about 12.5, and we already had the mass. Okay, so that was our first trial. So to find the mass of your liquid, you're going to subtract the mass of your cylinder plus your liquid minus the mass of the cylinder. All right. Now we're just going to keep adding liquid. We don't need to pour it back and then add more. We can just keep adding little bits at a time. I usually try to add enough to where it's a fairly large distance or amount difference. So let's get the mass. This is for our second trial. And then, pardon the glare there, that's 87.16. Let's call it 87.16. And again, we have to read the volume now at eye level, and at eye level this is around 20.5 milliliters. So 20.5 milliliters was our volume, and we're just going to repeat that process 2 more times. I'm going to add a little bit more of our vegetable oil there. Okay, and let's go ahead and put that on the balance. Our third mass, which is the graduated cylinder plus the liquid, is 94.43, and then I just need to read the volume of this at eye level for us here. So at eye level, this is around 28.2 milliliters. Okay, and then my last trial. Okay, all right, get our mass here. So our mass of our last trial here, 102.37 is our mass. And we're gonna read the volume at eye level here. And so that's around 37.0 for our final volume. All right, so the volume we measured directly, very straightforward. The mass, we have to do a little bit of a subtraction. All right, once you have your mass and your volume for each trial, calculate your density. All 4 of your densities should be around the same amount. and then you'll average it. And again, what you'll do is we're going to graph our data. That'll be a separate video on how to graph your data to find the slope and then to find the density of your liquid. All right, thanks for watching.